Yeah, my name is Sam Thomas, and I am a statistician. So I actually input what's happening on the court into a computer program that then everyone, the teams use, the broadcast uses, even the scoreboards in the arena draw from what we put into this computer program to present stats from the game live. So typically in a game, you're able to pull up either on a computer or a tablet. These stats in football can be rushing yards or passing yards, tackles, number of tackles. In basketball, it could be shots made, shots attempted, three-pointers, rebounds, assists. We kind of take all those raw numbers and look for patterns that emerge throughout the game. I watch what's happening live and tell the person next to me who's kind of running this computer program exactly what's happening. And then we use a program that kind of has the court mapped out on the screen to select the location of where the play happens, input the players that are involved, and then the result of the play. It requires a ton of attention and knowledge of the game. Yeah, this is really kind of part of my family's history. My grandfather did this at Texas A&M University in College Station. He was what's called a sports information director. So not only did he do a lot of this record keeping, he also worked with the media, which was predominantly newspapers at the time. My mom worked for the Dallas Mavericks for 12 years, I believe. Part of her job was updating the team's record book, which includes a lot of these stats. And then my dad has been a statistician for almost 40 years now. I kind of have emulated his track in his career, followed in his footsteps a little. He's worked on the Dallas Cowboys. Again, I wanted to kind of follow in my family's footsteps. And so I reached out to the communications office at OU, asked if I could come work with them. A friend who had just graduated at the time also connected me with the Thunder. So I interned with both OU and the Thunder for a season, took a sports PR class with kind of the head of the division that I was interning for. And that really helped a lot class-wise. I actually struggled with math during junior high and high school. Clicked it for me where I kind of figured out math a little better when I applied it to sports. And we thankfully don't have to use like advanced trigonometry or anything like that. But I really enjoy figuring out these patterns, figuring out these benchmarks really on the fly, and then doing a number of equations all throughout the game, especially when I'm working on the broadcast side of things. It's always handy to have the calculator on my phone pulled up. Yeah, it's definitely vital to know math to work in this field. We will, again, patterns are a huge thing. So I have to do a lot of figuring out runs. And that means when a team, maybe let's say the Thunder are playing the Portland Trailblazers, Thunder score 10 straight points. I actually keep a handwritten chart that I can look back at and say, well, the Thunder are now on a 10-0 run. And then maybe the Blazers score a few more points and the Thunder go on another 8-0 run. I have to be able to calculate, the Thunder are now on a 18-4 run. So I'll do some subtraction to look back at where this run started and build off that. We do a lot of averages. That's sort of looking at the past 5 games. We may say Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's scored an average of 31 points per game over the last 5 games. And so I'll have to refer to some of that record keeping to find stats like that. Averages are huge. Patterns, yeah, those are really the big ones that I look at. I think it helps tell the story of the game. And then in the broader context, when those patterns start to develop game over game, into longer stretches. You're able to tell which players contribute and how those players contribute to the team. So you may see that, again, Lou Dort has been averaging 8 rebounds per game for the past 10 games. You can say, well, he's obviously a good rebounder. Or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has scored 32 points per game over the past month. You know that he's probably going to be a prolific scorer. And so it kind of helps build this narrative arc of the players' careers to kind of tell them who they are and really, truly how much they should get paid by the teams. In the live broadcasts, a lot of times you'll work with a production team to kind of build these things on the fly, especially graphs. If you watch a game and notice at halftime or coming out of a commercial break, they'll try to have a chart up that shows, where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been, where he stands in the scoring leaders. He may be third in scoring, and so you need to build out a graph that says that. Or you need to show the last 5 possessions in a football game. You may see the last 5 possessions. It's been OU touchdown, field goal, touchdown. You want to be able to show that in a quick way that people will understand and be able to access right away. I fill out a lot of W-9 forms and kind of fill out invoices to send in and do all that. But yeah, it would be a per game basis. With the Thunder, I'm technically hourly, and so we are like in their system. I have the Paycom app on my phone and clock in and clock out for every game. I recognize that I was very lucky and I had family who was involved and was willing to kind of vouch for me. But I know a lot of people who kind of broke into this field without that privilege. And I would say a common theme, both for them and for me, is availability, which is a lot harder to find than you think. Being able to work games in the evenings and the weekends, you just have to show up and be a trusted person in that sense. And so not being afraid to reach out is very big. And then I think a knowledge of sports is definitely good. It's not required all the time. I think being able to quickly figure out patterns and do these small little math equations is much more valuable than knowing who had the most touchdowns last season. A lot of that stuff you can find pretty easily online or through the team's records. Being able to recognize what's going on the field is definitely helpful, but not always required. I would say a good base of knowledge in math is much, much better to have. First time I got to sit courtside at a Thunder game, it was a playoff game. But actually, Russell Westbrook got hurt. Patrick Beverley kind of ran into him and got hurt. And it happened right in front of my seat. And so for the next week, when the play was replayed on ESPN over and over again, you saw me with these big, goofy headphones on in the background. That was definitely memorable and I've been working with them for a year, but that was kind of the welcome moment for me to working in sports. I guess other memorable games, the 2016 Cowboys season, they had like an 11-game win streak and went to the playoffs, and it was Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott's rookie year. And so there's just a lot of excitement for every game. That was the first year I got to travel to all the games. And so a lot of the stuff surrounding the games was fun. We went to the mall. We went to the Mall of America in Minnesota. I got to go to Lambeau Field in Green Bay, and I got to go to New York City a couple of times, and Washington, D.C., and Philadelphia. And all of it was with people that I've known for most of my life, roomed with my dad. So we got to spend a lot of extra time together and eating meals together. And those were really special memories for me.